Okay, we're live. So we are coming to you live, the two healthy
from the
hens
coop, from the
from
coop.
the coop. Yeah, cluck, cluck. So tonight is very exciting because we are talking about the health benefits of wine. And Renee and I will cheers. So we are having a little drinky poo. Actually, we're probably 2 or 3 glasses in. Both of us are drinking the red wine. I'm drinking a Shiraz. What are you drinking, Renee?
I'm drinking a Cab Sauv.
Okay, yeah. So I find like when I drink Merlot, it just kind of like, no, I used to love Merlot because it's very heavy and like a full-bodied wine. But oh my God, my body doesn't like it. So I know that like Shirazes and Cab Sauves are okay. So you kind of have to like find the wine that works for your body, because as we get older, wine does affect our sleep. It does affect our metabolism, but there are many health benefits. And so I have to share, my daughter is 18 years old and she's traveling. Today she's traveling. And so she was over in Quebec and Montreal, and she's going to Europe. She's like, Mom, I'm legal. I can have a drink. And I was like, oh my God, have some wine, and she's like, ew, I don't like wine. I was like, yeah, at that age, I never liked wine either. I was like, you can get like a Mike's Hard Lemonade or like a Rev, or, I'm like, Revs taste like blue creases, but at 20, those were amazing. But now that we're mature, I said, I never actually liked wine until I became a mom. It wasn't until like my mid to late 30s that I was like, oh, wine. Okay. But and when I was younger.
Yeah, I know. And there's like, and this isn't for everybody, but at least everybody that I've talked to has gone through this phase where you start off with the white Zinfandel. It's like the grossest stuff, right? Yes. And it's like, really, this is wine? It's like soup. It's like drinking a sweet tart or like something so sweet. And then you get into the white wines. They're still sweeter. And then you graduate. And then you get into the red. You're like, I'm never drinking white wine again. I love the red. And then you go back to the white. And it's like,
it's like it's my crazy vein is popping out of my head. But that is so true, because I remember in college, like study nights, well, it's got a ball of Zinfandel because that's how it is. But that is like the wine through the ages, that's totally, you start with your rosé or your Zinfandel and maybe a little bit of like sparkling, because the champagne with the bubbles is pretty good. If you are like a bodybuilder, or if you're very like health conscious, you'll drink the champagne, very low calories in champagne, very low calories in your White Claw, so you're very specific with what you drink, a little bit of vodka on the rocks because, that's minimal. But then, when you get over 40, yeah, fuck it. And you're like,
you're a mom and you're like, Yes. But it's true. But that's what I'm sure you've come across this too when you work with people. It's like, why can't I lose weight? Well, how much wine are you drinking? Because they are.
Yes. I'm like,
calorific. I usually have wine on the weekends, but how much? It's like, it's what I tell people. If you're going to count calories, you got to count for the week. Like, don't count each. I did so well on these days, but then on the weekend you had like 10,000 calories. It's like even that out over the week, and you probably went over for your week. So it's it's crazy, and it just, I don't know what it is, but getting older, you're right. It's like, I don't know.
I don't know. You get into that one. I always think, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be one of those old ladies that drink wine. Totally one of those old ladies that drink wine. And I get it on a different level, because there's just something about aging and wine. Like you're like a fine wine, you get better with age, and it goes together. I mean, maybe not for everybody, but I think for a majority, us women are like, okay, we are into the vino, and that's okay. And I'm going to talk, we are going to talk about all of the benefits of red wine. So clearly like 5 ounces is okay. More than 5 ounces, isn't doing anything for your health. Now you're just like, well, this feels good. But for the health benefits, you're only looking at 5 ounces, and it's okay to be consistent with those 5 ounces. And I'm going to tell you why. So in case you didn't know, both Renee and I are certified as health and life coaches. We are also specialized as heart disease, obesity, and diabetes coaches. And the number one leading cause of death right now is heart disease, more than cancer, believe it or not. Okay, so heart disease is actually ranked above cancer, and having one glass of wine, 5 ounces, one glass of wine a day or 3 times a week will reduce the risk of heart disease by 30 to 50%. 30 to 50%. That is huge. But it has to be red wine, okay, not the white wine, because the red wine is made from red grapes. And the red grapes has a word. We were actually
resveratrol.
Yes,
resveratrol. It's the skin of the grapes. That's yeah.
So
white wine, the skins go away. They keep the skins on for red wine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is why there are health benefits to the red wine drinking. The Mediterranean diet, yeah, I'm sure you've heard, and the French people, they drink a lot of the wine and they celebrate. So us Canadians and Americans, we can adopt that a little bit, the 5 ounces a day. So there are scientific studies and scientific research reports that have come out stating that you can reduce heart disease by 30 to 50% by drinking one 5-ounce glass of red wine a day.
That's crazy. But I think too, because I was doing some research on this too, and I think a lot of it, because there was some debate on whether or not, because I read about the Mediterranean diet, and I follow the Mediterranean diet. I love that diet. And they were saying though, it's because part of that Mediterranean diet, you are drinking the wine but the food is also good as well, right? So you are eating decent, healthy food when you're following the Mediterranean diet naturally. So, I wonder if a lot of it has to do with just the whole package of it and more than the wine. Because I know there's been some debate about that as well, but it's really interesting when we were both doing the research on this, because it's like, there's studies saying this, studies saying that. And it's like, wow, it's crazy.
And we wanted to talk about this because both of us love wine. Yeah. Both of us are health coaches. And I don't drink wine to get drunk. Okay. So I never drink wine. I'm like, oh, I want to get shit-faced tonight, so I'm going to have a bottle
You're not
of wine.
You're not getting wine. You're not drinking wine to do that.
No. So, and I think we need to talk about that a little bit here. Yeah. It definitely makes me a little more verbal. It definitely makes me relaxed, but I like to drink wine when I've had a really good day and I want to celebrate. And I'm like, oh my God, today was full of accomplishments. I kicked a little ass. I really want to have a glass of wine. Or, oh my God, I've had such a stressful day. It's been a shit show. And it's usually like the end of the week. I've had a long, stressful week. I don't usually like to drink Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I like to drink Friday, sometimes on Thursday. But, Thursday, Friday, the end of my week, I like to have a couple glasses. But that is to just be like, okay, like I did another week. I just want to relax. But, when I have a glass of wine, I can feel it relax, like my shoulders release, my legs release, my mind slows down. I enjoy living. And again, I am not drinking to get drunk. I'm just drinking to have that body relaxation and the pleasure of being a woman, the pleasure of being alive. And for the first 2 hours of my sleep, I usually wake up a little bit later and I'm like, oh God, I need some water.
Yeah.
But that's the trick. That's the trick is if you have a glass of wine, 2 glasses of water, and then another glass of wine, 2 glasses of water. If you're going out and if you're drinking, like with friends, or if you're at a party, then you want to combat the wine with water. But if I'm at home,
yeah, I should have followed that rule last weekend. I went out to it was a house party. I didn't know anybody. It was my partner. It was all his high school friends from from
how fun
from
is
Nova.
that?
Yeah, it was cool. But for some reason, the wine was tasting really good. All I know is at the end of the night, Chris had to wake me up. I was asleep on their couch. So I decided I'm tired. I'm done. I did. I drank. I had fun. I met everybody. I was having a good time. And then we were all out around the fire pit, and I'm like, I'm going to go in and just take a little nap. And I literally walked in, went on the couch, and fell asleep.
I find like when I'm tired and I've had some wine, it does kind of help you. Like you just fall asleep so easily. There's no meditation needed. There's no TV needed. There's no like white noises needed. It's very easy to fall asleep. I do, however, wake up either around 1 or 3 in the morning, and I'm like, oh,
that's
like
because you're
pee or I'm sweating. But on the Chinese, the
Chinese body clock, it's your liver.
I'm filtering through, so my liver is like, okay.
Yeah.
There are the sugar alcohols that you need to watch for sure. But what is that? The resveratrol.
How many glasses have you had?
I have lost count this evening.
Oh, Jesus. The resveratrol.
Yes, thank you. So that will give you the health benefits. I also want to talk about sulfites for a minute, because people are like, oh, you shouldn't drink wine, there's sulfites. And as a health coach, there are processed foods that have sulfites and nitrates in them. We don't have to worry about the nitrates in wine, but yes, there are sulfites in wine. Why? Well, that you need to have sulfites in wine because it acts as a preservative agent, so that, your wine gets better with age, and the sulfites need to be in there so that it doesn't go moldy and rot. Okay. So it helps the wine age gracefully. You can purchase organic low sulfite wine, but if you ever find a wine that says no sulfites, it's lying. Okay. That's not true. It's false advertising, false marketing. You can buy you can buy organic low sulfite wines. So that is out there. And the really bad thing about sulfites, some people are very, very sensitive to sulfites, and it actually affects people who suffer from asthma, or who are like, if you have chronic sinus congestion, the sulfites will trigger you to have more of a reaction than someone who does not have asthma or is not prone to chronic sinus infections or sinus sensitivities. So if you're a regular human being and you don't have those issues, then you won't have any problems drinking the wine. But if you are on the sensitive side, or if you do have asthma, then the sulfites will cause a little bit more of a reaction. I don't know why. They tend to go to the sinuses and the lungs and cause pain and flare-ups, inflammation. So that is just, to err on the side of caution. I luckily do not have that problem.
I have sinus issues. I always have, but I don't have that problem either. It doesn't
when you're drinking thank God. Wines but there are certain wines that are lower in sulfites. And I don't think I have a list of that, but if you were doing coaching with me, or Renee, then we would find that out for you. Right. The red wine is also very, very rich in antioxidants. And that is a scientific based fact. So, and antioxidants fight against free radicals, help your skin, help your whole body. So antioxidants are a good thing. But again, obviously I'm drinking more than 5 ounces tonight. I'm not going to lie, because I'm doing this awesome video for you. And, it's fun.
Yeah.
But it's also
both of us always say everything in moderation. Neither of us are big on the diets, like doing any specific diet. It's you should be, unless you have real allergies or you can't, eat certain things or drink certain things for sure. But if you are one of those lucky people that can eat and drink everything, then you should be able to enjoy everything in moderation, because there is a line you can cross with any kind of alcohol, wine included, that then it becomes detrimental, right? So you have to be careful of that too. So yeah, we don't have to go into the, all of that, but I mean, you do have to worry about, the biggest thing is liver damage, right? Any kind of drinking, you have to worry about the liver damage if you drink a lot. So yeah, and
I think a lot varies on who you are. I think it's different for everybody. People can build up alcohol tolerances, and your liver might be able to filter it. And it also depends on your genes, like hereditary. Well, definitely comes into that.
Well, it's so funny. I'm going to tell my partner, Chris, he's probably going to cringe when he hears this, but this is a guy that can drink any amount of alcohol and wake up fine the next day. Like, this guy does not get hungover. Like, what is wrong with you? This is not normal. But good on him. But it's also a bad thing, because then I think that and we're going to talk about the hangover, but having the hangover really helps, right? Because then you're like, I don't want to get a hangover, so I'm not going to drink a lot because I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to ruin my whole next day.
Right.
So,
and that is so true. And that is actually, I would drink in my younger years, because why not? But my whole motto in life is, I don't want to waste my tomorrow. I hate wasting a day. I've been there, of course I've gotten that drunk where I haven't been able to move the next day until like 6 p.m. And I've crawled and vomited in the bathroom before. This is like way before kids. Okay. We're talking like teenage years. I've had those experiences. And I was like, why am I doing this? I don't have time to waste my day. Getting that loaded isn't fun. So again, my reason for drinking is not ever I do not get drunk. I get happy. I get relaxed. I drink to be social, but I'm not drunk, And so I think there's a big difference. As we get older, we get a little bit wiser and we know how to handle our liquor. But I do know some people who can pack back a lot of alcohol, wine, and go to bed and then wake up the next day totally fine. And I'm like,
I know. It's like, wow.
How are you? How is your liver? Do you do liver detoxes? I mean, I know how to do a liver detox. I know the foods to eat to clean myself out and to make myself feel better. Do you? Oh,
yeah,
we have the added benefit of having that education, So
yeah,
doing a little bit of a cleanse is good.
Yeah, I know we're going off the wine thing, but I wanted to say too, just alcohol in general. I learned a lot of good information, and I'm trying to put it together into some content that I'm going to post, but there's so much information that I have from this book. But what I recently learned is that when you drink alcohol, obviously it goes right into your blood, right? And that's where you get the blood alcohol content. And, if you get pulled over and you blow and you're over, right? It's bad. But did you know that you could have, I bet that night last weekend that I probably should not be driving the next day, because it stays in your blood for quite a while. And women is even worse than men. And there's actually a chart that you can use to figure out if you should actually operate a vehicle after you've had a night of drinking. Okay. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. Like, how many drinks did you have per hour? How, because you have to know how fast you drank and how much you drank and all that. And because that all impacts your blood alcohol content. But I just found it fascinating, because I'm a geek, data geek, science geek. And I just found it fascinating. I had no idea that there were times, I'm sure, that I was out driving the next day, and if I was pulled over, I bet I would have blown over the limit, even though I didn't feel it anymore.
And most people think, oh, I went to bed. I slept it off and I'm good to go. But you know,
It
that
takes a long
scares me
time.
because a lot of accidents happen first thing in the morning when people are driving home thinking that they're sober and they're not. So there's
Yeah.
that, my little mad Mothers Against Drunk Drivers.
Yeah.
There's my
Yeah.
little pitch there.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah. And if you're watching this and you want to know, reach out to me because I can give you that little table. It was fascinating that I found out. I'm trying to figure out how to kind of include this, but it's just so much info. It's so hard to just type it all out.
Right.
But it's really cool. So anyway, that was my little side thing on alcohol. But
so
back to wine.
talk to us about how to avoid hangover.
So yeah, how to avoid a well, to avoid a hangover is really
don't drink.
Don't drink a whole lot. And I think the rule of thumb, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's like if you have 1 drink an hour, you're doing pretty well. So you could drink like for hours at a time. And there was times where I started drinking it too, you're out at barbecue or whatever, you're, out in your backyard and you start
water though, you got to drink, put that water in between.
Yeah. But even if you don't, even if it's just 1 drink an hour, your body will process it. So that helps. But yes, drinking water, hydrating is.
Yeah. It's dehydration that causes the hangovers.
Exactly.
So the more hydrated you are, the less hangover you will have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
because
if
alcohol,
you put, there's that trick. If you put Himalayan, like the pink Himalayan salt into your water, it actually will rehydrate you. It's a miracle drink that people don't think about. So if you have salt water before you go to bed and then salt water when you wake up, it will mitigate your hangover.
I don't think I could do that, but that's interesting.
No, it's not that bad actually. So if okay, I'm going to go on. If you're a big fitness junkie and if you're heavy into strength training and you do not have BCAAs, you can actually substitute that with Himalayan salt and water. And it does the same effect as a Gatorade.
So
okay? So Gatorade has carbohydrates. Gatorade has the extra carbohydrates and sugar and sometimes dyes. So if you want to eliminate that, a natural source is just the salt and water.
So what's the ratio?
You know what? I don't know. I've always just like cranked the salt into my like water bottle, shaking it up, chugged it.
Okay. So not a lot.
I'm not drinking a lot. An ocean.
Okay.
I'm just drinking a little bit.
I know somebody who used to drink salt water, and this is what I was thinking. He, back in the day, used to drink salt water to get their system going, but it was a lot. And
no, not a lot. I would just crank a couple, maybe a teaspoon.
Okay.
If that, into the water. And it just gives you a little boost. It provides you electrolytes because your electrolytes are sodium. You need to have, you do need sodium. And so when you're sweating and alcohol dehydrates you, so the salt water will help to rehydrate you, mitigate the hangover. And same with heavy training. If you don't have BCAAs and you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm a little depleted, salt water will go to your muscles and revitalize you.
Well, there we go. So drink some salt water before you go to bed. But yeah, water in general, it helps, it breaks down and excretes the alcohol in your system, and your liver needs the water and wants the water to do it. And if it doesn't have enough water, it will pull from every other part of your body to get the water it needs.
And that's when you get muscle cramps. When you get muscle cramps
and headaches and
headaches, and you feel like you have DOMS and everything is tight, you're like, oh my God, like all I did was dance all night. It's because you're dehydrated. Yep.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'm looking at my notes too. We already talked about this. It's called, apparently there's a name for that drink. It's called Sole. Therapy, SOLE. But this one is actually, this uses Himalayan salt, but it uses the salt stones.
Okay.
Yeah. So apparently you put that in and you let the salt stones soak in the water for a day or so. So you have to have it in place, but your solution works really well too. But I was going through, I was like, oh yeah, that's what that's called, Sole. Yeah. So, then we can talk a little bit about the blood sugar balance as well, right? Because alcohol consumption you know, when we're consuming alcohol, we produce a lot of insulin, right? And that drives our blood sugar to an all-time low. So, and this is where you get a lot of
the blood
hangover
sugar balance.
Yeah. So you get those hangover symptoms as well. And actually, it's funny, what you should do is look for something sweet, but sweet as in good sweet, like fruit, instead of a candy bar or whatever. And fruit also gives you that extra hydration because it's, you know, got the water content as well. And it'll give you some electrolytes as well. So berries, you know, work well. Watermelon's awesome.
Well, I was, oh my God, I was going to say watermelon.
Yep.
You read my mind.
Yeah. And then support your liver when you're hungover, because the poor thing is working overtime, right? So you want to eat your greens. Green veggies, especially leafy greens, are really good because they contain those antioxidants and vitamins and minerals to support your liver. So grab a smoothie if you can. Throw those greens into a smoothie and just drink it up. So those are some things you can do. I don't know if there's anything else. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else you can do. I think that's pretty much it around hangover. Water is the best thing. I find if I have any drinks at all, if I have more than one glass of wine at night, I like to bring my water bottle to my bedside table. Because
me too.
You know,
I know
that way, if you wake up, just take a few glugs of water. That way you're keeping hydrated through the night.
And I know when I drink wine, like I wake up with the night sweats. I don't do that on a normal night, but if I have wine, I usually wake up pretty sweaty.
Yeah. And so I track my sleep. I have a Garmin, and because you know me, I focus on sleep, and I like to know my stats. And what I found is when I drink wine, especially, my REM tanks. I get a good amount of deep sleep, but you don't get into the REM sleep when you have too much wine. So you have to be careful with that as well, because you really do want to get the proper amounts of REM and deep sleep. So you feel fully refreshed in the morning.
But again, going back to healthy habits, sticking to a Mediterranean diet and having 1 5-ounce glass of wine consistently would be considered healthy. Yeah. But if you're going over the 5 ounces, like I am right now, so I'm making up for my whole week tonight, then I risk the rate of excess calories. I need to put some water into me to avoid the dehydration and the hangover, you know, so those are all the things that I have to take into account when drinking wine. But if you are doing it consistently, just 1 glass of wine for the health benefits and the lowering of heart disease risk, then that is how you do it. It's just the 5 ounces, like limiting yourself, you know, having that control.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's it. Yeah. So there's our health benefits of wine. and we wanted to drink wine while doing this. We just thought, oh my God, this will be so fun. Let's talk about the health benefits of wine, and let's drink while we talk about the health.
Yeah, exactly. So awesome. Hope you guys found this useful. And I think we should say, you know, if you guys are watching this and you have a request, if you want us to talk about something, let us know.
Yes.
You know, reach out.
Let us know your favorite type of wine.
Yeah.
If you're a wine drinker, comment below. I want to know. I love Shiraz and Cab Sav. And what country do you prefer to drink from? I love Australian wines. Those seem to work well with my body. I've tried a little bit of Italian, a little bit of Spain and Canadian, but I find that the Australian wines and me, we really get along, and I'm very sensitive to a lot of additives into my foods. So I have to be very careful, like with my BCAAs, with my wines, with any kind of flavored foods. I really read the ingredients, so I know my ingredients. And I've tried various different types of wines from many different countries. I do like German white wines, but as far as my red, it needs to be Australian. And sometimes there's one Canadian brand and one Italy brand that I can do. but mostly I just pick the
Really?
Australian because I know that it doesn't bother me. What
Okay.
about you? Do you
I
do you know
drink
yourself?
I drink from all countries.
I'm
But
worldly
yeah,
experienced.
yeah, I don't, what do you call that? I don't discriminate. But no, I actually like Cab Sauv. We drink a lot of Chilean and Spanish. We are doing wines from Portugal right now. And what else? White wine has to be New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. That's the only white wine I really like right now. Although I do like some Italian whites too. I'm big in Italy. Like I love Chiantis and stuff as well. And that's what I always say. My goal is to be living on a vineyard in Italy sometime, like overlooking,
Right?
like,
Right?
I could just drink Italian wine all day.
I feel
White,
you
red,
there.
I don't care.
Oh my God, Italian coffee and Italian wine. I'm in heaven. Yes.
Yeah. So awesome. Well, cool.
So share with us below. We'd love
Yeah.
to hear.
And
all right.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. I'm empty.
Oh.
All right. Have a great night.
Bye.